Okay, let's get this show on the road. We have to fill this up with fuel through the tablet, don't we? Fuel. No passengers. Okay. Get rid of the chocks and the tie downs and the pitot covers. So VirtuSim, yes, I'm back in the Comanche. So we're using the GTN today. I think everything else is going to be good. So rich mixture, get rid of the oak, master on, beacon on. I love how everything in this has a sound. I'm just going to make sure it's not too loud. About -25 is usually good. Okay. Throttle. Turn the engine over. Give it some power. Okay, it needs some primate. So we'll just leave it at 1000 RPM for a moment while we get the rest of the airplane sorted out. Master switch is on. So the autopilot can come on. We're not going to use it yet though. To make sure all the lights are working, and that's looking good. Working as well. Just checking around the gauges, make sure everything's in a good place. Okay. So let's have a quick look at the map for today. It's going to be a fun one. To begin with, we're just going to go shooting off across the mountains to get to the beginning of the group flight, which starts in about an hour and a half. So it's going to be a run straight across the top of the hills to the beginning location. So it'll be quite a relaxed flight to begin with. So do we have any wind to deal with? Nothing really, so we can choose our direction of takeoff. Let's get the head tracker on so we can easily look around. So it's a restricted takeoff, so we're going to taxi up to this end and then take off. It's a lovely wide runway though. Let's put the yoke back on for the moment. calibrate the altimeter, calibrate the gyro compass, and we're pretty much good to go. So pitch, pitot heat as well, strobe lights on. It's 80 knots and rotate, we're in the air. These trees are big, aren't they? So we didn't need any flaps there for the takeoff. We're going to try and climb above this weather. So immediate right turn. Holding just about 100 knots. How are we doing? Should we turn the RPM down just a little bit? It's about that. Drop the climb rate to 1,000 feet a minute, try and get some airspeed. Almost ready to go onto the autopilot, to be honest. So let's just spin the heading bug round. Get clear of this hill. And then we'll go for autopilot. Should be able to make this left turn now towards the direction we actually want to be going, which is 94 degrees magnetic. So let's get the course pointing in that direction. And the heading bug. And then go and turn the autopilot onto heading mode. And leave it controlling leave it climbing at 1,000 feet a minute for the moment. We want to get to about 12,000 feet to clear the hills along the way. Are there any VOR stations? Probably not. It's going to be a follow the line exercise. Oh, we're going to put ourselves on the correct server though for when we do the group flight. So it's going to be the Southeast Asia server. So we'll make sure we're on that ahead of time. And with a bit of luck, we will arrive in the neighbourhood of departure in good time. I'm going to turn off head tracking for the moment so I can concentrate on the okay. Manifold pressure is fine. RPM is fine. We are rich on the mixture though. Oops, wrong lever. I'm just leaning us out a bit. Coming up to 8,000 feet, still holding 1,000 feet a minute, so that's all looking great. I wonder if we can get ETE at the top corner of this. There's a way of doing it, isn't there? Change fields. This one. That's better. So I think it's 1 hour and 11 minutes, not 11 minutes. It's obviously just not quite clever enough to do that. Hey, hello rain. Hopefully we'll get above the clouds in a bit. Icelandic is saying, wouldn't you lean the mixture? I've done it. Yeah, it's almost on. You can't see it from here, but my lever in the cockpit is almost all the way out to fully lean. You know, almost to the point of no fuel going in. Did I hear in a past video that you fly... Now there's a heart symbol in the way on the interface. You fly something with controller. I use an Airbus stick and a Thrustmaster quadrant. There's no great design to it, it's just that's the hardware I have. Should we look from outside? Oh dear. Okay, so let's have a look. So Peter heat's on, rotating beacon's on, strobe lights on. Should we go and turn on the radios? Might be an idea, hey? That's coming up to 10,500 feet. So what's the transition altitude around here? 20,000. Okay, so we won't be leaving that altitude behind anytime soon. So we'll get, hopefully we need to get to at least 12,000. The reason I say that is if you look at the altitude plot en route to our departure runway. I mean, okay, departure's at 6,000. But yeah, it's to avoid these hills en route and to be able to cruise, because we're going to have minimal visibility. We need to be careful. So VirtuSim is going to join us in the group flight later. So anyone that wants to know about the group flight, it's on VirtualFlight.Online. If you go in the Discord server, you can find all the details out about it. So I've actually got a Discord running over here. So you can see here's the actual group flight notes. So there's downloadable flight plans. There's a description of the route. It's going to be good fun. There's usually about 30 or 40 people take part. Coming up for 11,500 feet, and we're just coming out of this cloud and get a little bit of a view of the hills around us. Hopefully the weather's not going to be this poor all the way. Hopefully we'll get to see some scenery as we go whistling across the hilltops. So coming up towards 12,000, do I need to do anything special with the autopilot? I can't remember. Getting muddled up now between different airplanes, what they do. Altitude, engage, disengage, but that will do altitude hold. So I think I just leave it climbing until I want to engage altitude hold. So 12,000 feet will give us, oh blimey, only 500 feet leeway over, and we don't know if there are actually higher peaks than that. I guess we'll see when we get near. I'm inclined to go up to at 13,000 just to give us some insurance. And east is odd anyway, so we ought to be at an odd number. So we'll carry on climbing out to 13,000. So I'll put the Discord for the group flight in the notes, and I'll put a pinned, message in. So if you go to https://bit.ly/VirtualFlight.Online Discord. If I pin that to the top of the... Can I edit that as well after the fact? No, I can't. That's rather clever of them, isn't it? So yeah, I'll write it again. To join the group flight at 1900 UTC, visit https://bit.ly/VirtualFlight.Online Discord. All details are in the events and events channel. Replace the pinned message. There we go. It's worth pointing out they're quite strict on the group. I'm going to carry on for another 1,000 feet, by the way, to avoid some of this cloud. Yeah, we don't put up with idiots like the Flight Sim official Discord server. So if anybody starts trash talking, hate speech, racism, anything like that, dirty jokes, whatever, we will kick them immediately. Which is why Virtual Flight has done so well. Because it's somewhere people who are actually interested in aviation can go. Okay, the climb rate is slowly decreasing. But this is indicated airspeed, remember. Our ground speed will be a lot higher, which we can find out by looking in Discord. Yeah, we're doing 140 knots over the ground. So we're making really good time. Oh, hello, we have company. That would be a really good aircraft choice actually for tonight's flight, for this part of the world. I'm really pushing it, doing it in the Comanche really. So I'm just taking it up to 14,000 and then I'm going to put altitude hold on. I think the ceiling for the Comanche is 20,000. So we're just coming up to the point at which I'm going to hit the altitude hold button. So we'll just keep an eye on it. Okay, just coming up to 14,000 feet, which isn't that correct. We should really be at 13,000 for an odd number for travelling east, but there we go. I think that only really counts above the transition altitude. We're still 5,000 or 6,000 feet below it. There we go, so altitude hold is on. And we'll let the aeroplane stretch its legs. Ease this RPM needle right up against the red line. We're looking good. So what's the wind doing up here? So yeah, so we could probably do with a couple of degrees closer to the track. That's the trim on the autopilot, having a fit, trying to hold us at 20,000. What if there's any options for making that not make any noise? Apparently not. I wonder if we disengage. And re-engage it. Okay. probably dropping back down to 14,000, is it? Which is where I marked the altitude hold. Let's just hold it here. 14,500 will do. Okay. This is showing time. That's not what we were showing, local time, isn't it? Let's see if we can change that. Estimated time. Oh, did I say arrival? Estimated time to destination. No, I want time to waypoint. There we go. That's better. About 50 minutes away, which is good. That works out perfectly to join the group flight. 45 minutes away, so we don't need to be there quite that quickly. So let's turn the RPM down a bit, shall we? Yeah, DEFCON, I just realised that's why it shut up now. So I trimmed the plane out before I engaged it this time. I just looked at the live chat there, and yeah, as you were writing that, I was actually doing it. How's this doing for volume on the live stream? That's pretty good, isn't it? I think once we get past this bank of cloud, there's one of these high points ahead of us that we need to clear along the way. So let's put this on minimal, open window layout, minimal. Let's get the taskbar out of the way. Let's do this. So you can see where I'm going. And how close we are to getting there. Should we put this over the top corner over the other side? There's nothing going on over here, is there? That's better. Just out of interest, I just realised I've got no position lights on. There's left and right. Oh, I thought it was landing. Is this the beacon? Surely this should be lighting up. Oh, of course it is. Being an idiot. That's better. A few more degrees on the heading. "42 minutes across the hills." Okay, I'm going to go and grab a coffee while we are en route, and I'll be back in a minute. Right, I have coffee. How are we doing? Starting to see some of the others coming in, so we're going to turn the transmitter on and then they'll see me coming as well. So there we go. So while we're en route, I'll do a bit of a sales pitch here. One of our members has taken on the job of organising some of the group flights. So if we go to VA, the virtual airline for VirtualFlight.Online, and go and look at the tours, there's a new tour going on at the moment, the Atlantic Islands tour. And it goes through a 20 legs, oh my word. Oh my word, somebody's done all 20 already. That's crazy. So you can see there's the 20 legs going all over. I mean, some of them are very short legs between the islands. It is great fun though. So if we're going to see what Peter's been up to, if we go and click on his name, it will show us his pilot briefing. And we can see he's got the badge for the Atlantic Islands tour, and we can see how he did on, there they are, look, here's the legs. So on any one of those legs, we could go and look. This one took him 2¼ hours. You see, oh wow, look, he got 100% on it. So he got absolute top marks on the ACARS software that tracked him on the flight. And you can see there, so his actual path for the flight, doing the, arranging his route in. Very cool. So that's VirtualFlight.Online for you. It's a virtual airline. Anybody can join it. It's free to join. You can see we have over 1,100 pilots now. 41,000 hours have been filed by them. 8 million miles covered. 32,000 flights. So within the airline there's obviously lots of tours. So you can see here there's tours all over the world that you can go and do. They give you basically routes to go fly. So if we look at the regional one here for New Zealand on the South Island, you'll see there's a number of legs and they crisscross all over the place. So it gives you things to do, places to fly, and marks off how you're doing along the route. You can also do scheduled flights. So you could say I want to go from, well, you can see them all listed here, but you can search them as well. So if we just pick one of the scheduled flights out, for example, there's one there from Scotland down to Egypt. Very cool. You can pick your aircraft you want to do it in. So the scheduled flights actually mandate different aeroplanes. So say if you're going to do it in the 737, you could do that, for example. If I was logged in, I could then take it through and pre-file the flight. And then the ACARS software will be waiting for me to do it. Okay, let's go and have a look inside, make sure the airplane's still okay. Cylinder head temperature is quite low. Oil pressure's good though. Manifold pressure's fine. The RPM we pulled back on purpose, but we're still doing 120 knots. So just having a look at our plot on LittleNavMap, if I pull this back up to window, open window layout, default, and put the altitude plot on. So we are way above where we need to be, but we don't want to start descending until we get, fairly close to the destination. We need to come down into here, basically, which will be here. Yeah, so we could go round a little bit, I guess. But if we come straight over the top, you can see actually, if we move our marker, you can see where that is on the graph. So that's the high point we need to clear, and from there we can descend in. And that will be the meeting point for the virtual flight. The group flight, sorry, later. What's going on with that? So I'm guessing that's that next big peak is in these clouds. So we'll stay well out of its way at 14,000 feet. So Jared is saying that his work schedule gets in the way. We're trying to encourage people to organise more group flights. If we go and have a look at Discord briefly, you can see in here, this is the upcoming ones. So there's one tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. That'll be local time to me. I'm British Summer Time, so 1900 UTC. It says there, look in the notes. We usually write it up. Peter is the guy that's organised the one for tomorrow night. Next Sunday there's one, Sunday after, but there's nothing to stop anybody organising their own group flights, and we try to encourage it as much as we can. So yeah, although these are notes, by the way, so you have the basic events listed in Discord, but then we also have an events channel. So if we come scrolling down, you can see there it is there. So if you need any extra notes, you can start a topic in the events channel, or the person that organises it does, and then you can have conversation with the other members, asking questions perhaps about the route. It works quite well. But then for the actual flight, we'll actually come in and join the speech channel, or the voice channel, sorry, the English voice chat channel. There's an events channel, so that's where everybody will congregate. If people do want to split off and talk in their own little groups, there's an international voice chat channel as well. And there's also ATC channels, so if we have got an ATC online during the flight, they will pretend to be tower, for example, at each of the airfields along the way, and people who do want to do it can go and talk to tower as they would in the real world. But that's very much dependent on if we've got somebody volunteering that night or not. But if you just want to hang out with everybody else, you can just jump in the events channel during the event, which is what you normally hear if I stream it live. But yeah, Discord's great. Yo, can you go over your settings? Everything's default in Flight Sim. It's running on Ultra. It's a NVIDIA 3080 graphics card. The notes are in the notes of the live stream about my hardware. If you want to see where anyone is during a group flight, I wrote this program when Flight Sim first came out called Transmitter. So when you look around and you see little red aeroplanes on the map, those are people that are running Transmitter. So it's a tiny little program that you can run. But beyond, you can see I'm running it now. Here it is. In here you can say who's online, and it pulls up a web page and gives you a live view of people running Transmitter all over the world, along with a table of them. So if you're looking down here and say, oh look, there's my friend, perhaps maybe it's this one here, Le Sir. Say if I click on him, it will actually zoom the map into him and show me exactly where he is. If I click on him, it will give me his details. So he's in a 737 this evening, and he's on his way to somewhere. It doesn't track the flight plans, it just shows you where people are. And it shows you their last landing rate, which is a bit of fun really. Okay, 30 minutes to go. So Prada tunes on about the startup video. Yeah, I've done startup videos on lots of them. I don't go into the weeds with them usually. I just cover the absolute essentials to get the airplane up and running. Sometimes, you know, I'll go through a few niceties like turning seatbelt signs on and off and things like that, but obviously in the real aircraft, if you can go and watch the professional pilots do it on YouTube, and they go through so many checks that I don't. Okay, so we're coming up to probably the highest point in terms of hills of the route, aren't we? Yeah. Obviously we've got a few thousand feet clearance. So Prada's saying, why haven't you become a real pilot? Several reasons. I have a family that I have to look after, or have to provide for. I can't afford the flying lessons, and I'm colourblind. Plus I wouldn't be able to afford an aeroplane if I wanted to be a private pilot. Yeah, all sorts of reasons. I think people who do have PPLs or private pilot's licenses or share in an aeroplane, they tend, it's a common thing you'll hear that they did their PPL, then they have a family and they don't fly for years, and then they go back to it when they're older. So I never had the money when I was younger to do it. So the simulator is as close as I get. And plus, yeah, commercial aviation is gone for me because I'm colourblind. Turn the head tracking on and stabilize it. There we go. Above the clouds, but not above the mountains. It's quite an odd place to be, isn't it? So Prado Tune is asking, do I have a cockpit setup? Can I put this onto? Just wondering if I can upload a picture into the... I'll show you exactly what I'm seeing right now. I can do a picture-in-picture, can't I? In OBS. I always forget I can do this. So if I grab the webcam and do inset camera, then you can see, with a bit of luck, refresh. Okay, it's working. So if I go further away, you get to see my entire setup. There is not much to it, to be honest. There's a bit of a lag to YouTube, so I can't see this live. So that's it. I've got the quadrant, the joystick. There's a Stream Deck that I don't really use for flight sim. And that's it. I've got probably the most minimal setup of anybody you can imagine. So let's go and put that back on full screen. I always forget about the webcam. I know a lot of people on YouTube put themselves in the corner of the image. I think that's a bit vain myself, so I never bother doing that. People really don't want to see me, they want to see the aeroplanes. Let's figure out where we are. So we're still south of where we should be, but we're doing fine. So if we zoom in on this, you can see the route in. So we'll stay this kind of altitude, mainly because this keeps us clear of the clouds for the most part. Being bumped around, aren't we? Okay, so according to the GTN 750, we're 20 minutes out with half an hour until the group flight starts. Do you know, I'm tempted to switch aeroplanes when I get to the destination and go and get the PC-6. Because it's built for this. I've got the Milviz PC-6, and it really is built for this kind of journey, isn't it? It would be good fun. Should we push on then, see if we can get there a bit quicker in order to get that done? Maybe not that fast, eh? Let's just take the edge off the RPM. I don't suppose the airfield has any radio beacons, does it? Doesn't look like it. So Mushroom's Magic is saying he's afraid to fail. Just turn the damage control off. Whenever we do the group flights, we turn the damage off. There's no point having it on for a group flight. And if you're worried about crashing on landing, yeah, you might get a couple of chuckles from the others, but we've all done it. And that's how you learn. You've seen me on live streams, you know, experimenting and doing stuff. Sometimes I'll come in with thoroughly inappropriate approaches to airfields. And other times I'll, you know, make myself a big long approach, do everything by the book and come in on rails and grease it. But it's a simulator. You're not going to get into trouble for doing anything a little bit out of the ordinary. Yeah, so on about this, I think some of the airfields are fairly short, aren't they, on this route? So this one here that's 2,600 feet, that's fine. That's 5,000 feet, that's fine. That one's 1,100 feet, that's a bit more challenging. That one's 1,400 feet, that's challenging. 2,500 feet, that's fine. 1,300 feet, quite challenging. 1,600 feet, that's getting towards being fine. 3,200 feet is fine. And then the final one is, yeah, it's a municipal airport, so it's 5,500 feet runway. So yeah, some of the hilltop ones are quite short, so that's going to be fun. It'd be interesting to see if they have inclines, but we'll circle when we get there. Yeah, instead of going straight in, be a little bit more careful maybe. So if we go and have a look over in Discord, is anybody appearing in events? Not yet. So we've still got half an hour to go though, but I wouldn't be surprised if people start to arrive in the events channel very soon. How are we doing on the speed since we opened up the engine a little bit? Not really made much difference, has it, the RPM? About 10 knots for blowing the engine to bits. Would I not have passed out by now? Oh yes, of course. Yeah, I'm not sure this is a pressurised aircraft. I don't think it is. So we would have had a cannula, I imagine, and an oxygen bottle to do this, which would have been good fun, and a big thick woolly jumper on. It's a good point though. What do we get in the way of cabin heating in this one? So we get, of course, of its era, isn't it? Look, it's a cigarette lighter. We get cabin heating. Has it got an internal temperature anywhere? I'm not sure that it has. Just having a nose around, see if I can find a... I mean, that's got the outside air temperature, obviously. Just above 0. So yeah, it's quite chilly. Ah, some of this is on the iPad. Let's have a look. I keep forgetting this has got this fantastic iPad. So, cabin temperature 48 Fahrenheit and climbing, because I've just opened the... So it'll be nice and toasty in a few minutes. So we've got a 6 knot crosswind hitting the fuselage. We've got 33 Fahrenheit outside air temperature. I wonder if you can change the units used inside this. I thought I saw that somewhere. Maybe I didn't. Ah, metric units, kilograms. So does that mean all pages? No. That only means for the payload page. It doesn't matter. So maybe I'll turn that heating back down a bit, hey, before we cook ourselves. That will do. Keep it about 65, that'd be perfect. So let's put the tablet back away. How far away are we? 10 minutes away. So Robbie is saying, if you look at my manifold pressure, yeah, it's incredibly low. That's because it's freezing cold outside. And we're at extreme altitude. We're at nearly 15,000 feet. This thing tops out at 20,000 feet on a good day. So that's why. I mean, we have got carb heat we can have a play with to see if we can influence it at all. So yeah, it's climbing a little bit. But not a huge amount. And this is starting to be thrown around by the turbulence here. Obviously we're getting quite close to these hills. Should we go and put this on head tracking so we can have a look over the side. Stick our head out. So let's trim this down a little bit, hopefully give it a bit of an easier time of keeping the airplane on track. Seven minutes out, 18 miles to go, and we're going to probably have to circle as we descend. Isn't it typical though, the visibility, unless we can come out the other side of this cloud, it's going to be difficult to know until we descend if we have any visibility over the airfield. It's going to be fun, isn't it? This is the PMS GTN 750. I don't think it has a virtual cockpit view. I think we're coming out the other side looking at the clouds. We're going to be lucky. So 16 miles to run. So is it literally a case of, yeah, clear this ridge and descend in? Yeah, so we're just clearing this ridge here, which we can see just at the side of that cloud there. And hopefully then we'll descend below the cloud. In fact, should we do that now? So let's come off the autopilot. Let's just go sideways and track around the cloud rather than go through it. At least this way we have some visibility. Trim it down. Hopefully get in between the cloud and the hills. It's getting very windy. That wind noise is pretty stunning, although we're getting very fast, so I'm going to pull the throttle back. Get rid of some of that speed, and then the wind noise will hopefully dissipate. Although we're descending as well, which is not helping. The trouble is, if I cut the throttle too much, the engine will probably freeze up. Right on the border of the yellow airspeed warning area. I'm trying to descend. So 9 miles to run. I'm just looking, it's just down in here, isn't it? This is the ridge that we are flying over. It's here, and it's just the other end of it. It's down here. So I've cut the throttle back significantly. Or is it, no, it's the end of this hill then. Oh, that's fine then. That means we can stop descending. So it's just past the end of this outcrop here, so if we go around this side we should find the airfield. Back in time for tea and medals. Let's follow the ridge. We can see nav lights from some of the planes that are already here. And there's the airfield, hurrah! So which way is the wind? 3 knots. Well, for us, but for them it's pretty different, but we'll go this way and turn back in. So it looks like, because it's quite sheltered, there's not much wind down here, which is great for us. So as soon as we get on the ground, I'll switch aeroplanes ready for the group flight. How are we doing for time? 22. Got 20 minutes to go until the group flight. There's loads of time. So I'm going to loop to the right in a moment. I'm just doing this to lose some time, lose some speed basically. Get down. Flaps. Bit of a crosswind, so we're going to side slip in. So left wing down, hold the body along the runway direction, start to increase power to stop the descent rate. The tree line's quite high, isn't it? Crosswinds are almost vanished now. We're on the runway. Whoa! What happened there? That was some wind shear and a half. So I think it's time to go and change aeroplanes anyway. Oh, hello, who's that going by? This is obviously some combination aircraft parked there. It's quite cool. It's because I've got the AI aircraft on, so it makes it look quite funny sometimes. Ah dear. I'll turn this off for a moment. What's going on with this now? There's a few glitches going on with the simulator by the look of it. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, monsieur.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good morning, good evening, Jonathan.
How you doing?
Good evening, John.
I just got caught by some wind shear on approach. I just touched down and the plane got blown off the runway.
Ooh, fun.
Can't blame me.
Jet wash from Joe.
Not today. Not this little puny aircraft.
I'm about to go and change aeroplanes. I think I'm going to go with the PC-6 for this.
Ooh, challenging.
Well, a normal plane is not going to deal with those 1,100 foot runways, is it?
Nope.
Yeah, I'm going with Kit Fox.
I went halfway yesterday, Jonathan, and I was in the caravan,
Yep.
the one with the six-pack. Seemed to handle everything all right.
Yeah, caravan's great. That's a good idea, actually.
Black box one.
Yep.
Black box, yeah.
Evening all.
Evening.
Good evening.
Evening. So what massive plane are you flying, Joe?
I'm flying a Hawk.
Oh, okay.
But I'm mainly doing, well, if people want to do some ATC, I'll be doing some ATC mainly tonight for those who would like to try it.
Yeah, you're showing up as like a Airbus to me.
Yeah, well, it's just Flight Hawk.
What server are we on, guys?
Southeast Asia.
Thank you.
There you can see them aircraft has just gone live, so you can see where I'm flying.
No, we see your comm panel,
All
your
right.
external comm panel.
Yeah, stand by. We had this the other night. Bizarre. Stand by.
Good evening, friends.
Oh, yeah.
Hello. How about now?
Yep, got it. Yep,
So it's still, is it got the aircraft?
yep, got the aircraft.
Yeah, great. Yeah, for some reason it had the air traffic panel up. Bizarre. So flying at a sedentary 212 knots at the moment.
So slow.
It was so slow, but I have to stage your flaps down.
Hello?
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 Hello? There's some lovely little hills for a game of Heidi. I was going to say a load of hillocks, but I thought I'd better say that carefully.
Can't wait to get my honeycomb alpha yoke. I just ordered it Friday.
We'll all be very jealous.
It will lead you to the dark side of needing a Bravo and Charlie.
Oh yeah, that's coming too. I'm selling my Quest 2 and my Formula 1 racing wheel and pedals just to get the
Very
Bravo
nice.
quadrant.
You won't know yourself. I've had mine for over a year now, and the Bravo, got them when they first came out. Just love it.
Yeah, I just ordered the XPC of the Alpha Quadrant, of the Alpha Yoke. The latest one.
Yep.
It's on sale at Track Racer.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah, it's about 70 euros off.
Quick, make some YouTube videos to pay for.
Yeah, I'm trying my best.
So the Alpha, I've had the Alpha and Bravo for a couple of years now. The Alpha, 0 problems, never had a problem with it. Bravo, I've had to repair it twice. And the wires break off inside, and
I've heard that. I've read about
tightening
that.
ring. Yep, I got a tightening ring that broke off, a little C-clamp that came out and just kind of popped out. Had to replace that. So if anybody has honeycomb Bravo issues, I'm your resident repair guy. I got some YouTube videos on.
Been lucky so far.
Oh, I still love it. I would buy another one in a heartbeat.
No, I love both mine too.
Yeah, I've had no issues.
Yeah, just quality issues a little bit here and there, but it's serviceable if you have basic soldering skills.
Even everybody, a radio shot, please.
Hello?
Yep. I can hear you.
Sorry for the weird sound, I just swallowed a bit of drink backwards.
Good evening all. Back there,
Evening.
Kirk.
Hello, hello.
Good evening, David. I did wake up.
Hi, Alice.
Yeah, Jonathan, just for info, the ATC group name works in transmitter and the filter works in
Brilliant.
LittleNavMap, so I'm all set up if we have people that want to practice.
Very good. I'll do the talky bit in a moment then. And I'll explain to people what they can do this evening.
Indeed.
My favorite part.
I'll just get my airplane lined up and put the parking brake on.
Mic check, please.
Yep, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Reading you fine, Mike?
Joe, just want to say thank you. That was a really enjoyable trip round the Alps the other day.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Peter. It's nice to return the favour. But you can see why we like playing around that area. It's spectacular.
Yeah, it's somewhere I've got to go and play more. I tend to be at the French end and not in the Alps themselves, and I think I've got to go there again.
Oh, well, we'll send you an invite next time we're on.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's interesting. I changed aeroplanes. I loaded the flight plan in from a PLN file. The 430 has got the flight plan correctly. The 530 has completely messed it up. Never seen that before. So I'll be referring to LittleNavMap along the way.
I'm sorry, I just got in. Are you guys discussing problems with loading the route?
Yeah, it's messed up inside the 530 and the 4... Well, the 430 looks like it's got it. The 530 hasn't. It's very strange. But I'll just follow it on LittleNavMap, it's fine. Or just squint at the 430.
My system keeps locking up. I can't get into the flight.
Yeah, well, for a small pounder vector, commercial vector in charge.
Okay, so welcome to the flight, everybody. Just looking at Discord, I think there's quite a few of us in this evening. Already, so yeah. We do this every week. If this is your first time coming into one of the flights, well, we try to do it every week. Slowly more flights are appearing throughout the week as well. So if you always look at our flights and think, oh, I wish they did one at a time that more suited me, there's nothing to stop anybody organising their own flights and inviting the whole community to join in with them at whatever time and day suits them. So don't feel that you have to wait for us to, suit when you can fly. You can actually run your own flights. So this evening, I think this is Dave's plan, isn't it? To go across the Papua New Guinea mountains and hills.
Yeah, they're rather nasty little strips.
Yeah, I noticed that. So the only real rule is to try and stay together on the flight. So I'm guessing, is this 120 knots tonight for an average kind of airspeed?
Yeah.
And please keep voice comms family friendly. That's really all there is to it. So there is a halfway stop. Just trying to remember what the details were. If I go and have a look in the event channel, halfway is at Simbrief.
Golf Yankee Sierra Julia. It's Simbrief.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get in the air and circuit the airfield, watching everybody take off.
And a bit ATC for those.
Oh, sorry, yes. Joe will be in the ATC channels, so if you would like to find out about what's involved with ATC, either to take part or to listen in, feel free to switch voice channels over to the ATC voice channels, and Joe will be able to give you a bit of a primer and get you up and running.
Roger.
Will you be using the tower channel, Joe?
Yeah, roger. So if there's anybody interested, say yeah, and I'll go there now.
What do you have to do with the transmitter?
Yeah, just where in transmitter, just put the group name ATC in lowercase. That's it. No, I'm flying as well.
Multitasker, right?
Oh, yeah.
What server are we on today?
Southeast Asia.
I'm sorry, you talked over each other. Could you try again?
Southeast Asia.
Thank you.
Right, there's somebody down in tower, Jonathan, so I shall jump there.
Okay.
See you there.
So we've just got to 8 o'clock, so if everybody wants to get into the air, go for it. 8 o'clock British summertime, I should say. 1900 UTC.
Hey, while we got a lull here, I just wanted to let everybody know that the Oshkosh is happening this week.
Very cool.
And there's already videos being posted. I added one to the forums.
Brilliant.
And it actually shows a real group flight. They're stacked up. They're coming in side by side, and they're stacked. I mean, they must be at least 10, 15 deep on the approach. And they're all GA, Bonanzas and Pipers and Cessnas and that sort of thing.
Brilliant. So let's see where we are on the map. A huge jumble of us. So once everybody's airborne, I guess we set off along the route.
Yeah, there's several on the ground still.
Yeah, do a couple more laps.
Yeah, it'll take them about 2 seconds to get off the ground, this Kit Fox.
Just increase the world wind and you're up in the air in a minute.
There I am, even before the threshold markers there.
I believe it was Flight Simulator X. It had collision with other aircraft, so can you imagine the 40 or 50 of us playing with that on?
Well, I think on some of these planes, the displays here, they will actually give you the warnings on the display here that you're in danger of a collision.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
TCAS is operational, yeah, on some of them.
I'm assuming third party.
No.
No? Okay.
No, some of them have got TCAS built in. How are we doing for the...
We got like 3 people on the ground still.
Yeah, should we carry on then? So it's about 320 degrees to the first waypoint, which is only 3 miles up the road. The actual bearing to the first airfield is about 2 degrees. if you wanted to do it as the crow flies. I think there may be hills in your way.
I think that's why Joe routed it, to give you more time to climb.
So if you head...
I think you'll need at least 9,000 feet.
Roger.
Don't make me swear to that. I'm just guessing.
Hello.
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 Southeast Asia Silver.
Yes. We have just departed from Wapena. How do you say it? Wapenamanda. Alpha Yankee Whiskey Delta. So people are basically scrambling to gain altitude.
As always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the major reason I went with the Kit Fox. It's got about 3,000 or 4,000 feet per minute climb rate.
I'll award everybody a medal if they can see and find this airport.
That'd be fine. Famous last words.
You haven't seen it yet, John.
The first two are killers. Well, you'll find out. I won't say no more. Apart from the runway we took off on, only the last two are paved. All the rest are grass.
So the airfield we're going to is AYA. Is that Q?
Yeah.
Attack.
It also has a slight upward hill slope, so the regs say it's 23 to land and 05 to take off on it. So to do a touch and go, you need to do a U-turn about mid-runway.
U-turn.
That's adding to the complexity, Peter. Don't tell him.
I shall not say anything else.
Hard left at the coffee shop.
Yeah, 5 weather's not too bad. Some really large clouds in the distance.
We're now at 10,000 feet and only just clearing.
Yeah, I just flew up from about 150 miles to the west, and most of the way I was at 14,000 feet to keep out of the way of the clouds. And the hills.
Very nice scenery here.
Once I clear this hill, I'm going to do an orbit. I don't want to lead you all into the airport. You find it yourself.
Turn the head tracking off for a bit so I can actually look at the live stream comments without looking into the corner of the cockpit.
Always staring at a seatbelt.
Yeah. Actually, I could put my my laptop directly underneath the screen.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah.
I've got one of these wonderful fold-in half Chromebooks. So it can...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have one as well. Yeah, they're great.
We are slowly becoming the Google family. Everything is going... Because it's just... Nothing goes wrong. You just turn them on and they work.
Yep.
And they're about the 5th the price of the equivalent Apple stuff. Okay, so we've got to find this airfield.
Still got a lot of airplanes at the start.
WP4.
Am I reading this right? The elevation is 7 feet?
1,000.
So,
Airport elevation is 5,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. LittleNavMap's wrong here on this one.
So what does LittleNavMap mean when it says 5107 feet dash 2649 feet?
one of them's the length of the runway, the other's the elevations.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Elevation first and runway length second.
Okay.
So which way's the wind?
It's going to be crosswind.
Yeah, it's just a small crosswind. Okay, so you're all coming in from the west side, so I'll follow suit.
The usual west side story.
Wind is south, 184.
Yeah.
For some of these Papua airstrips, there's only one way in and one way out.
Right.
And the way out is in an ambulance.
No, they're
Brilliant.
They're upslope. They're like anywhere from 15 to 25% upgrades there.
Sliding down a mountain.
An ambulance or a pine box. There are a couple on here that are scary.
Right, I'm going to have to turn the names off so I can see what I'm doing.
I used to follow the bush pilot, missionary bush pilot quite a bit, and actually do patronage for him so I could get some of his flight plans in Papua New Guinea. And the amount of stress he has to go through just to make sure that the grass is cut at the runways, and if it's not, he's got to turn around and go back. The weather changes every second. There could be dogs on the runway. Lots and lots of problems. It's like you got to just be in the seat of your pants, kind of flying in this bush pilot stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of hazards up through here.
And then he gets really mad when they don't cut the grass and yells at them.
Probably rainbow to east.
So next leg is 80 degrees from here to Ruti Airport. Romeo, uniform, uniform.
I've just discovered that the Cessna 182 is perfect for this sort of thing.
Brilliant.
So far.
Yeah, I think I got the wrong plane. I'm using a double ender here, and it's kind of slow.
Well, it might be that everybody's racing off. So yeah, just a reminder to everybody: try not to go faster than sort of 120 knots when you're en route.
That's tricky at this altitude in a 182.
It is.
Lucky to go that fast.
Yeah, that's called showing off up here.
Is everybody using live weather? The clouds are pretty cool up ahead.
Yep.
Got some rain too and everything.
I'm sure in the real world, pretty cool turns into terrifying.
Yeah, I think you're right.
At these altitudes, leaning the mixture gives a pretty significant improvement in performance.
Sure does.
Yeah, very important.
Looks like we have a rainbow if you look behind yourself.
Cool.
I think this Ruti airport, I don't know if Peter will agree, I think this is the hardest to see.
Is there a way to turn nameplates off while you're in flight?
Yeah, you can map a key to it, but it's not mapped by default. It's toggle nameplates, I think it's called, in the keyboard configuration.
Oh, excellent, thanks.
So if you use Control-Alt and a key, Control and Alt doesn't seem to be used by the simulator usually.
I got it binded to a button on my yoke.
Yep.
Same here.
Yeah, I've got it bound to a key, but then I've got that on a button on the Stream Deck. So it's the only thing I typically use it for.
Interest?
I think so. That's not a bad idea, actually. And the head-up display on the external view as well. I bet you can.
I tried to do it when the simulator first came out, and it wouldn't let you do it in flight, even though you could bind it.
Yeah, I think they have slowly improved it. I'm not sure if it's got everything in there.
You look down at these mountains, you got like two options if you ever wanted to be in a really bad situation. Let's say you had to go down in either mountains, like in Papua New Guinea here, or in the ocean. Which one would you pick?
Depends if there's anything nearby on the ocean.
They're going to eat you.
I think you're dead either way.
Yeah, I mean, mountains are pretty dangerous. Yeah, you can't see anything in the ocean. It's just no land.
Unless you're the guy that jumped out of the perfectly working aeroplane with a fire extinguisher in his pocket and...
That's somehow not in jail? Yeah.
They pulled his ticket.
Yep.
Yeah, he should be in jail for that too.
Imagine if it had started a fire.
And it wasn't, yeah, very green. It was very dry brush.
Well, I think he made sure there was very little fuel in the plane.
He even set his prop mixture to, or his prop angle all the way down so it looks like the prop's not turning, so it gives it more dramatic feel. Such a showboater.
The funny thing... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, that was part of his excuse, or his made-up excuse, wasn't it? That, oh, I ran out of gas.
Yep.
The thing that made me laugh is him and his friend went and collected the aeroplane from the jungle on the quiet. But they, being master criminals that they were, they disassembled it and hid it in bins around their home airfield.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Now that's what you call a kickcraft.
Yeah. I just couldn't believe that.
It just so happened to have a parachute on that day. Weird.
Kind of like writing a bank robbery note on your own deposit slip.
Yes.
Or it's like what kids do and they just record it on and put it on Facebook. That's really pretty coming into this valley. I take it this is a grass field we're coming into?
Yes, yep.
So the group for like next week is California, so it's wine country, and I did bake in a little surprise, much like today's plan has a surprise. There'll be a fun one on next week's as well.
Are you shipping us wine to fly with?
You have to have you have to have a swig of wine on every landing or something.
The bottle.
Free cheese, bring your own wine.
That would require some planning, wouldn't it? To say, right, each of these wineries we're going to land nearby, do it like 2 months in advance. Say, everybody needs to get these bottles.
Wow.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
I kind of knew everyone was going to say that.
Hey, Ellis, that's better than coffee.
Tell our spouse, I need this for the group. I need to buy this wine.
It's all about the immersion.
I think I can see the airstrip. Is it just those carved lines in the grass?
Yes, that's it, yep.
Yeah, this one's really hard to see.
Yeah, I got it.
I just touched it.
Good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm touching down right now.
Yeah, it's not that bad to see, actually.
Here I can see Lyndon flying the right way up.
It's a mirage.
Everybody can make a mistake once in a while.
So I'm going to circle the airfield and come back in.
House
Everybody else is
landing.
approaching.
That was a near miss, John.
And they still put trees on the approach.
That's what's one of the killers on this one.
That's a Microsoft obligatory.
And I've got little trees as well.
This area looks like there's a fire here or something.
Yeah, there's some pretty serious thunderclouds over the top of the hills, isn't it?
Yep. Looks awesome.
Ooh, somebody's just gone in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to stop in front of an F-35.
So Jonathan, thanks for mentioning Bush Talk Radio. I have been having a load of fun with that. I was flying around in Puerto Rico a couple of days ago listening to local radio. What a blast.
It's great fun, isn't it?
So what is that?
It's an add-on for Flight Sim, a free one. You can get it from FlightSim.2. It's called Bush Talk Radio.
I'll have to check it out.
So it uses your location in the simulator, and while you're flying along, it can either read out points of interest as you get near them. So it has its own database of volunteered information, and it reads it out with like an AI Google voice. So it sounds like a museum curator telling you all about the place. Or you can put it in local radio mode, and it plays local radio stations of wherever you are.
Oh, very cool. Bush Talk Radio, you said?
Yep.
Good.
Okay, where's our next heading then? So
327, right?
15 degrees up to Sengapi, is it?
Yeah.
And over the hills. What a surprise.
The theme.
It's another nasty one. Well, I'm saying another, they all are.
15 degrees, okay.
The other cool thing about Bush Talk Radio is that you can actually contribute content. So
yes.
I think one of the things that I'm going to do is go back and add some of the stuff that I talked about during our Outer Banks adventure and add some landmarks.
There's also on FlightSim.2, you can download the CSV file to import the user points into LittleNavMap, so you can have them on your map.
Cool. Nice.
Nice roll there, Lyndon.
I thought I'd annoy you.
I wouldn't stay right down there. You need 6,000 feet at least there, I think.
Yeah.
Lewis held that lead for a long time, didn't he?
What's that, sorry?
I said Lewis held that lead for a long time.
That was inevitable that he wasn't going to stay there for very long.
He didn't even make the first corner.
I think you can mark it in seconds.
It just shows, though, how much Verstappen was keeping a lid on it, because the fact that Checo came all the way through the field like he did.
Yeah, Max was saving the tires.
Yeah. There was no point stressing the car if you don't have to, is there?
Nope, that's why he set the fastest lap very early.
Yeah. It's kind of, I can see where the other teams or some of the more bitter drivers are coming from, though. Because their car was that good this year, they've already stopped working on it and they're working on next year's car now. Because all they have to do is basically come second repeatedly or third and they've won. So they can save the money.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hello.
We've abandoned the ATC.
Okay.
We had issues.
There's three. I've
Too many mountains.
I mean, it's bad enough caught me with one Ellis, but I had three of them, and it was just getting a bit too much for me. And so he was on. He was on the previous. He was stationary on the previous airport 5 miles towards the next airport and climbing away from the second airport all at the same time.
Hey,
Yeah, that's tricky.
It is. So we'll sort that out another time, I think.
I double checked. I only had one version of transmitter running, but I had. So I don't know. It was weird.
perhaps he wasn't English speaking, was he?
No, they were having technical issues.
Oh, right.
So I should be seeing an airstrip off my left wing, and I am. Hurrah!
I think this is the one on the ridge of a mountain, and I can't remember.
Well, it's on a hilltop. I might circle around it first, because I got here fairly early, so... Have a little look at it. So what's the wind doing here? So, yeah, it pays to come in from the far end. It's 6 knots travelling along the runway by the look of it. From the direction we're coming from.
I'm just going to take my filter out.
I'll do a left circuit, I guess. It's quite disconcerting when you see clouds that are lower than the airfield.
Isn't that fog?
Yeah, we're up in the Lake District and I saw a Sea King helicopter coming out of the cloud. That was below us. On the way to Helvellyn many years ago.
Yeah, I'll come down circuit, do a circuit. Just saw Dave do a nice touch and go there.
Good evening, all.
Evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, I'm late, just joined you.
I think you might have to pay a double landing fees if you're late, of course.
That's a fun runway with that hill at the end.
It is.
This is green tarmac I can see.
They had a job lot of grass seed, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's lichen on the runway.
It's a lichen to grass to me.
Right, I'm going to circle here for a bit because there's quite a few that are still coming in.
Yeah, I've done 2 orbits so far.
Turn it into a proper flying circus at the next airfield.
Well, I'll see if I can add to that.
Surprisingly good scenery, isn't it, for an airport and out where it is?
Yep. Sometimes the AI does a very good job with the buildings and stuff, doesn't it?
To the many flying real weather.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Nice and misty.
What you got your time set at, Jonathan? Because it'd be the middle of the night real time then.
I've got it at... Let's have a look.
I got it early morning.
Yeah, about mid-morning.
Right, I'm going to resume the route. It's pretty close to the next airport.
Yeah, 126 degrees, isn't it? So the exact opposite of the direction I'm going.
It's nice to have an airfield with a ski jump.
Wasn't it the old World War One aircraft carriers and stuff like they had that little ramp at the end of them to launch the planes?
Yep.
And they were all made out of wood.
Well, the a couple of the British aircraft carriers had it for the Harriers as well.
Oh.
I think the Russian, was it the Admiral Kuznetsov, is it? That's got it for the flankers, hasn't it?
Yes, it has, yeah.
And the Chinese ones as well.
Well, weren't they licensed from the Russian Navy, I think, maybe?
Yeah, I think they were.
Is it full stop at the next one or touch and go again?
Touch and go.
Yeah, it's the one after this that's the full stop for a break, isn't it?
The Simbrief.
Yeah.
Thanks
So
for the
many of
flight
us.
plan. It's great fun.
Okay. Let's see, can we find the airfield in the bottom of this valley?
Yeah, I think this next one is the coffee stop, isn't it? Alpha Yankee Sierra Juliet.
Well, there's one before it, so Delta Sierra we're just approaching.
Okay, that's one I've missed off my plan.
And it's going to be a peg to land on, I think.
And it's short.
I'm just looking for it. From altitude.
It's hiding behind a mountain.
Is that it down there?
You need to follow the treetops.
That's got to be it.
Ah, yeah, it's another hilltop one, isn't it?
Just circle like a buzzard.
Very short.
Oh, I got it. Oh, that's a good one.
It's hidden in the trees, isn't it?
Well, only if you're at the same height as it. If you're above it, you can see easily.
in the orbit of the airport first.
Landing into wind is going to be tricky.
Decide how to crash.
Come along that ridge.
Yeah, just remember, death can be fear.
Yeah, it's a bit of a wall of death on the way in to get the wind, isn't it?
A few bits of tree.
Ooh, nearly took the roof off that.
Scratch one Spartan.
Give myself some room to approach it.
Gordon Bennett, that was brought tears to the eyes.
Coming at 97 knots, and that was still too fast. Cracking middle airports, aren't they?
Yeah, you shouldn't be approaching this from the hillside. I'm going to come in from the other way.
Ah, it makes it more fun.
Scream if you want to go faster.
Yeah,
Digital running with scissors, right?
I think any grade overrides any wind directions. If you ever try landing downgrade, it's you're looking for a either nosedive off the cliff or definitely a crash there.
Just seen somebody go into the trees.
I don't think I've ever seen a missionary bush pilot try and land with down the grade. It's always land up the grade and take off down the grade.
Did this airfield get added to the flight plan somewhere along the line? Because the flight plan I printed off didn't have this one on it.
No, it's always been there.
Can't even find it.
Just followed everybody else.
Which one you can't find? Simbai, or however it's pronounced.
The one before, Dave.
The crazy one where lots of planes are smashed to bits.
I do
scrapyard.
I found it this morning, but I can't find it.
You do your plane in it there, look, do's it.
Yeah, it's not in the Discord flight plan.
I have been to this airfield before, you know.
I printed it off the Discord flight plan, and it wasn't. That one wasn't on it, Dave. I'm sorry to tell you. I've got it right in front of me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. I'm the same. I just checked. It's not on it.
Should have been, because I've got the PLN plan.
Yeah, it's on mine.
Which
Yeah, it's on mine.
Which I transferred from the other one. You know, I exported it to it.
So I've got it in LittleNavMap, but not in Flight Sim.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I've been here before.
I think there's a nice little coffee shop at this one, Ellis.
Thank you, Dave. I'm hanging out for it.
Anyone else get a healthy dose of wind shear in that one?
Nope. I did.
It's just nerves.
Okay, so off down to Simbai.
This Simbai is another one with the hill in the way.
Ooh. Only one tree hit.
I'm going to have to do an orbit to get rid of some speed.
Get rid of some branches.
Try and program this route in on my GPSs when we get there. I think it had completely gone wrong earlier.
Chickening out and using one stage of flaps. 82 knots. Oh. Nope.
So what's the... $250, 10 knots.
No space for a halt to take off.
Need to come in runway 26 then, really.
Got the roof of the sheds.
So someone in the live stream chat is asking, what is a really nice analog airliner? The DC-6?
Absolutely.
Yep, it's the best one.
It also will give you post-traumatic stress disorder, but that's a different thing.
For the engine management, feathering.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was going to say, only for the aircraft engineer.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an idiot.
There's an automated flight engineer in the DC-6, if anybody doesn't know. And yeah, he's you have to keep an eye on him.
He likes to blow your engines up, and then you have to feather them, and then you can't climb, and you're like, why are my engines all off?
Yeah, I'm too much of a control freak.
He sounds like he knows what he's doing.
Probably does, Jonathan.
That's what they all sound like.
I actually took that one up to Vegas, and it showed 1,000 feet off once I got up to about 25.5.
Oh my word.
It was weird.
But yeah, you just end up staring at the engine needles, waiting for one of them to diverge from the others.
Great plane though, a lot of fun.
And a very pretty plane as well.
Yep.
I need to have another go in the Stratoliner. I only flew it like twice when it came out and haven't been in it since.
Right, I'm off to make coffee.
So
mine sounds weird when I start it up.
How are you coping with these short runways in the Hawk, Joe?
Getting down's fairly straightforward. It's getting off which is difficult.
He's just tapping his wheels real fast at 130, and then he picks up.
Yeah, trying to stop is okay, but trying to pull off from a standing start on that last airfield was I hit the roof. Didn't have enough runway.
Are we taking a break yet at this airport?
Yep, this is the break.
Oh. See a whole bunch of people parked. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'm landing.
There's quite a annoying bug in the Stratoliner. If you started from cold and dark, you cannot uncage the compass. the cage uncage works when you start in engines running, but not cold and dark.
Interesting.
Never knew that.
Yeah, so it kind of messes up the flying unless you want to give up on starting it yourself.
That tool tree in the way of the approach is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Shoot a palm, Jonathan.
This is just in time to refresh my coffee.
Just hit the F5 button to refresh that coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, it come in pretty hot and almost burn up my engine to stop here.
I gotta cut some trees.
Right.
I think it's coffee
Cheat a little
o'clock.
bit, hit the reverses just before I touch down.
What time are we starting back up?
About 5 or 10 minutes.
Very good. Thank you.
I think it's frowned upon to put your reverse engines on while you're still in the air, isn't it?
Yes.
Probably not a good idea. But in sim,
really do it.
Yeah, in the sim, go ahead.
Actually, I think the A-Pilot Home is another bush pilot in Papua New Guinea, and on the on that plane you can hit it reverse, do the beta mode, and I think he said he has used that just before the landing, just to get it to slow down faster.
So Paul Arrowsmith on the live stream chat has said, what is the best airport in New Zealand that was upgraded with the update? Martins Bay is very good, isn't it? It's got lodges next to it. It's a little grass field on the South Island, on the north coast.
West Coast, Jonathan.
Oh, sorry, West Coast. They're all very good. Queenstown's very good now.
That always has been, because it was one of the bespoke ones when they first released it.
What's that mountain one?
Up by Mount Cook, you mean?
Yeah, Cook. That's it, Mount Cook.
There's Mount Cook, and there's quite a few of them being done. There's quite a few airfield packed on .go for New Zealand if you want to get them. Still haven't done my home plate, my home strip.
So someone's made a good point as well. They said, is the 146, the BAE 146, an analog airliner? It probably is, actually. Someone else has asked, in the MD-82, can you use thrust reversers in the air? No.
Nope.
I think the PC-6 is about the only aircraft where it's an accepted procedure, isn't it?
I don't think it's an accepted procedure. Beta, but not reverse.
You could technically do it in the PAC 750, I just don't want to.
Right, I'm going to grab a coffee.
Moi aussi. And a bit of fuel.
Back.
I am too. I've set myself a real challenge, Jonathan.
What's that?
I have just completed the Newfoundland tour on VirtualFlight. I'm going to fly home. All the way to NZ.
That'll take some doing.
Yeah, I've started. I've done about 2 legs. I'm coming down the east coast of the USA, and then I'll fly across the USA and then right out across the Pacific. That'll get me to 1,000 hours in the sim.
Oh my word. I have no idea how many hours I've done.
I only joined last week, and I've really been enjoying it.
Yeah, it amazes me the number of people that manage to get 100% on ACARs, because it's sometimes not the most accurate thing in the world.
To put it politely.
What is the limit, speed limit, on taxiing speed?
I don't know. I think it's like 20 knots, or it might be less than that, 15 knots or something.
No big you are.
I reckon ACAR's got a mind of its own. You think you've done it right, and you see, taxi overspeed, like hell.
If you reach taxi in an airport like Denver, you need to do about 60 knots. I should never get there.
Yeah, Houston's like that too, isn't it?
Amsterdam, Schiphol's a bit couple of miles away from the terminal, isn't it? One of the outrunways.
EPL, they do say walk-in speed, but I guess airliners, you have to go a tad bit quicker.
Yeah.
And the stall detection in that rating, it doesn't distinguish whether it's a stall in flight or stall when you're about to touch down, does it?
Yeah, so you have to be careful of that and not stall it onto its wheels on landing, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I should lose 30 points.
If you taxi in the DC-6, you're automatically going to get a taxi error, and then if you're doing stalls, you're going to get some stall errors on it. It's very picky on that aircraft.
I wouldn't worry about it, to be honest.
Yeah, the points are knocked down, so you don't get hurt.
I took the private pilot license tests.
Right, I'm going to start.
Oh, hang on, whoever that was just talking, you were very, very quiet.
Yeah, Jim, you were very quiet. 925.
Trying to get any better?
Not really.
Is 925 a radio code?
He's VFL 925.
Ah. I thought it was going to be one of your VHF status codes.
Try again, Jim.
Just warning, that tarmac strip is not the runway.
Yeah, stand by, Dave. Go ahead, Jim.
Can you hear me okay?
No, you're still very quiet. Get closer to the microphone, I'll turn the gain up.
Okay, trying again.
Nope.
No, really quiet. You gotta eat your mic.
It could be...
I am.
It could either be the level in Discord in the audio settings, or it could be the output volume in Windows itself. So if you right click on the speaker and go to sound settings, it will list your devices. So to get access to that while you're in the simulator, just press the Windows key and the bar will appear at the bottom. And you can right click on the speaker at the bottom corner.
Okay, that's a test right now?
Yep, much better.
Much better.
Very good. I was just saying that when I took my private pilot's exam, I got gigged for taxiing faster than you can walk.
Ooh.
Let's put the names on. Oh, crikey, there's a lot of people down there.
You know, Jonathan, you were saying about some people getting 100%.
Yep.
On YouTube, there's a New Zealand ag pilot who flies the PAC 750, and he got a hold of the sim and flew the PAC from the the Henzin, the Nepal short airport, and he flew it using the mouse, and it was perfect. And this was the first go.
With the mouth. Crazy.
Yeah, he didn't have a joystick or anything, he just had the mouse, but he got hold of the game because everybody had been talking about it to him, so he thought he'd see what it was about. And so where's the first place he goes but off to Nepal.
Brilliant.
Using a mouse is cheating, you know.
And cruel.
I started last week doing my first tour. I'm doing the UK, and I've decided that I was going to fly the whole blasted thing in the Ford Tri-Motor, so I'm about 20%. But man, some of these legs are like, I'm no pack a lunch. At 80 knots, it ain't happening quickly.
You're going to be sleeping next to your sim, too.
Well, I've actually now completed 17 tours, I think it is.
Oh my word.
You have to medal.
I've got a few of those. I've just about filled the book on my awards page.
See, we can give out awards just randomly if we need to.
I think it's 16 or 17, mate.
He's out for a few extra.
Yeah.
Would that be the No Life Award?
I think one of your ideas was to give us something to do, Jonathan. Well, it's turned out to be a bit of an overkill.
Maybe there should be a disclaimer when you go to join a tour saying, there are other things to do in the world.
Just wait, you start getting excited in divorces, that's the time to worry, Jonathan.
Yeah.
So does this mean I get a Ford sticker if I fly the whole UK route with the Tri-Motor?
Have a word with the Ford Water Company, you'll probably get a car.
I'm still waiting to find out how we can buy a plane with all the money we're accruing.
That's a work in progress?
No, that is... At the end of all your tours, you got to donate all that money to me.
Right. And then it adds it to his Monopoly balance the next time he plays Monopoly.
I've never
It'd be kind of neat. It'd be kind of neat to buy the libraries, the virtual flight libraries with your flight money. I don't know how you would set that system up, though, to download them.
I've never won at Monopoly. The only time I thought I was going to win, my mum beat me, and it turned out she'd robbed the bank.
I think at some point in the future, I don't know, I keep dilly-dallying around this. I'm a software developer, a web developer in the real world. I could build the airline system we're using is an off-the-shelf one from a company called VA Base that anybody can go and buy it and set it up and set the tours up and all the rest of it. And we did it, to get something up and running quickly. But I've always thought I could have. I mean, everybody has this that say you're a carpenter and you go and buy something off the shelf, you're always going to think I could have done better than that. So at some point there may be an airline version 2 that comes out with a much less stringent ACARS system and with all sorts of extra abilities that we can't do at the moment.
Like sorting numbers?
Yes, exactly.
You're going to complicate my life even more, Jonathan.
But it's it'll be complicated though, because I'd have to export everybody's records and then re-import them in so they don't lose anything.
No, you make them refly them all.
Start all over again.
Yeah, start all over again like it's version 2. What's the old saying? The shoemaker has the worst shoes.
Oh. The shame is, if Volanta was a little bit better, we wouldn't need the airline at all. Or we certainly wouldn't need ACARS. You could just fill in a PIREP and tell it the Volanta link of the proof that you did it. But unfortunately, Volanta isn't just quite there, really.
Right, I'm pulling out on the route.
It would be cool if there was an ability in the current ACARS to construct a flight plane with more than one leg.
Yeah, but I guess the argument is always going to be once you land, you set up the next leg.
Yeah.
But it keeps ACARS simple. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, nice.
Okay, so what direction are we going next then? So we're going 163. Oh yeah, 159 as the crow flies. Yeah. Or 160 degrees basically, and then start looking.
But those tours are very well done. The selection of strips, and I mean some of them are ultra cool. It's a really great job.
I will admit. So I was going to say, all I was going to say is most of them are by luck, because typically to plan a tour I just open LittleNavMap and look for a succession of airfields that are the right kind of distance apart.
Yeah.
And that's really all the thought that goes into it.
Well, some epic luck in some cases.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Especially like in Canada. I was flying the Canada one today. Jeez. It's
amazing. Pure luck. It can be luck on the day with live weather as well. Sometimes the weather will absolutely make it.
Yeah.
It's amazing around this part of the world as well, when you zoom in, how many airports there are.
Yeah.
I've only seen a few. You know, there's probably 3-4 times as many.
Because they've got no roads, Dave.
Yeah, you probably like going into Lukla.
Well, my mate always tells me the worst one, and he flew up here for a number of years, is the emoji. Did tell somebody, I think I was talking to Peter about it, and I told him about it. He was going to go and have a look. I went there once, not again.
Okay,
I tried to find it on LittleNavMap, but I couldn't find it, Ellis.
That far from Port Moresby, actually. I'll go and have a look, and I'll give you the ICOA code.
Cheers, thanks.
I still think my favourite tour that I've done, I've not done very many of them, was the Himalayas one. That was brilliant fun.
I enjoyed the Norway one, would be one of the ones I enjoyed the most.
Depends what time of year you do it, doesn't it? Because that, during the right time of year, it never gets dark on that one.
Right, eyes down and looking, Peter. Alpha Yankee Echo Foxtrot.
Kilo. Sorry, Ellis. Lima Kilo.
Alpha Yankee Echo Foxtrot.
Ah, right, got you.
Ifoji Echo Foxtrot Oscar Golf India. Good luck.
Thanks, Ellis.
Koinambi airport is another nasty one.
Yeah, quick one, Ellis. When's the last time you uploaded, upgraded transmitter?
When did I do it?
Yeah.
Yesterday. 2 days ago, maybe. Yeah, 2 days.
Yeah, so it can't be that then. You must just be too far away. You just have to move a bit closer.
So is he appearing more than once on the map then?
Yeah, and he's checked that he hasn't got any rogue sessions running in
How strange.
Task Manager. I mean,
But even if there was, they would all repeat the same location.
Yeah, but one thing I noticed though, guys, was that when I just had a quick look before we stopped for the coffee break, was that my little red aeroplane on the map was miles away from the yellow one. In other words, so what would be causing that, Jonathan?
Overload on the server. I know on Sunday nights there gets to be too many people, so the system just can't keep up.
But Lee was fine.
Yeah, it's odd. I'm not sure. I've never got to the bottom of it.
And obviously we don't have any problems with lag when we're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Have you got... no, because the version of LittleNavMap would only affect Joe. Wouldn't affect the person sending the data.
Yeah.
Just to stick my oar in, when you were saying about it, I looked on the LittleNavMap and I had Ellis halfway between the first two airports and halfway between the second and third airport all at the same time.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem that we had, so that's obviously on multiple clients then as well, with our clients.
I'll go home, alright?
Right, I've got eyes on the airfield. It's another one coming uphill, isn't it?
Yeah, strong winds here.
I've been here before.
The idea is to come in over the top of the hill, down into it.
Yeah.
No. Idiot.
No.
Yeah, but that's the route I picked.
Yeah, but then we'd question your sanity.
Safety first.
Oh, you don't need to do that.
Okay, let's get down to flap speed.
If anybody needs the phone number for the current airport restaurant, I'm parked right outside. I've gone straight off the end of the runway in the Kodiak. 0903037030. And they're taking orders now, I believe.
Did you take away?
Cappuccino with cinnamon, please.
The girl behind the coffee counter just
bring out to you, Ellis.
Is this where they say... So go on.
Somebody said about what I was ordering.
Cappuccino, was it, Ellis? I'll bring it out to you.
Yeah, with cinnamon. With cinnamon, please.
No problem.
Shaken, not stirred, right?
The girl on the counter just fainted.
Yeah, I'm in the trees.
The coffee before you shake it.
I just wiped out my plane. That's the first time I've done that on a group flight. Oh my word.
Coming down.
What'd you do?
Put the plane into the trees.
That's because you went in the easy end.
I also crashed on finals into the trees.
Well, there's going to be a lot of food on the counter there not being accounted for.
I'll send a wheelbarrow over to the bits in.
I guess this is one of those where they say in the restaurant, is this for a takeaway? And you look at the bits of your aeroplane and say, I'm not going anywhere.
Don't worry, I'm bringing everybody's orders out in the Kodiak. There's plenty of room.
Yeah, what's your departure slot next Tuesday?
I'm going to have another go at that. It's the wonder of simulators, isn't it? You can have another go.
Crash again.
Die another day.
Right, I'm next to carry on my route.
Bloody big hill at the end of the runway.
That's got a mountain.
That's called a mountain.
Whoa.
That's what's called a no-go-around landing.
Yep.
And the wind shear.
Oh, it always made me laugh. There's that around the corner from Alpe d'Huez, in the Alps, there's a little airfield called VirtualFlight.Online, which is effectively means it's good night.
Yeah.
And it is. It's you get one go. There's no exit route if you get it wrong on the approach.
Missionary Bush Pilot does some really good landings like that.
He flies a Kodiak, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right, let's get this
He
on
was
the
originally
stall
going to go
speed.
get some helicopter license, but he canceled that. When he was back in the States, he was flying a Kit Fox. And then he's going back now to Papua New Guinea and going back to the Kodiak.
Right, trying a proper approach. Along with 27 other people.
I found that last one by chance. I came through the trees and it was suddenly there, so I quickly landed.
Yeah, so it is doable. I've just done it. The stall warning was going off, and I thought I was going to drop a wing at any moment, but I got away with it.
Yeah, it's a real test of pilot skill, that one.
I'll never get airborne with the Hawk, unfortunately, on this shorter runway.
They're using beta in the airport, Jonathan. That should be easy on that one.
I didn't actually need it. I stopped without needing it. I came in over the trees at about 60 knots. I'm going for a gap in the trees for takeoff.
Hey Joe, I got a solution. Bang it into the runway and then hit the Y key.
Yeah, sounds reasonable.
Pitch up in the air again.
Okay, I suppose we ought to head out to the next leg. 130 degrees-ish.
I can do with a JETO unit if anybody's got one.
Back in the days before Snopes ruined everything on the internet and turned all of the brilliant stories into obviously fake stories. Can anybody remember the Darwin Award for the guy, well, the police found a car halfway up a cliff face?
Cliff face, yes, I remember that one.
Turns out it wasn't true, which is a real shame because otherwise it would have been the best story ever.
Yeah.
Has anyone heard the story?
No.
So the way the story played out, yeah, the police discovered, or somebody reported, and the police went and investigated, and there's bits of a car embedded halfway up a cliff. And it turned, the way the story read, the guy had stolen a JATO rocket from an airbase, strapped it to the roof of his car, and tried it out. There was a crest in the road about half a mile away.
People believe that, huh?
They believed it for years. Yeah. Because everything you read on the internet is true, of course.
Right. Of course. I thought it was pretty cool when they found his dental records and they got the DNA and managed to track him as a missing person and all that stuff. That was quite cool.
Wow.
But yeah, it turned out none of it happened, which is a real shame.
Yeah, I thought the one of my favourite Darwin Awards is the ball washer, golf ball washer.
Not heard that one.
Oh, well, I'm too polite to talk about it, but you can guess what he tried to do.
Was it successful?
Behavior on a golf course.
It bled to death, apparently, if you believe it.
Oh, so not successful.
Yeah, wash your balls here.
Well, you know, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. And this reminds me of a story about I think it was a man from California who decided it would be a great idea to strap a bunch of balloons to his lawn chair.
Oh, I heard about this one, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And lived to tell about it.
He was narrowly avoided by high-level air traffic, wasn't he?
Yeah, apparently he had a CO2 rifle or a BB gun, and his plan to reduce altitude was to shoot the balloons out.
Oh, wow.
He dropped the BB gun.
Oh, he dropped the beast.
Well, the favourite dog one is the, you know those cuffs that they get, or collars they get when they've been to the vet so they can't chew the bandages and all that kind of stuff. Well, the cartoon is, you know, one dog in its kennel looking at the one with the collar, and the one with the collar is saying to the other dog, hello there, old chap, I've got this incredibly difficult question to ask you.
Was it 10 years ago? Somebody had their son, and it was all a fake stunt, but they said their son got into a makeshift UFO that was all inflatable, like kind of like an inflatable homemade like ship. I'm not sure what it was like, but anyway, he lifted it up into the sky, and then they hid their kid in like a closet in the house. And they said, my kid's up in there. So they scrambled, you know, like some F-16s or something like that. And eventually they found the kid in the closet.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Well, in the
insane.
Yeah, in the 60s, a true one, they did, some students had actually placed some smelly little homemade UFOs, you know, tiny things, along some ley lines and reported them to the police, you know, funny noises and things. And by the time everybody got to hear about it, the army had blown 3 of them up. True story.
Yeah, we had a couple of the Chinese air balloons, and they thought there were spy balloons here in the U.S. And then we had some above Michigan, in the northern area of Michigan, and there were actually some hobbyist aircraft, and the government's shooting them down because they're paranoid. So the F-22 actually got some real action for the first time ever.
Did they paint a balloon on the side of it?
Yep. They did. It's probably a meme. I'm not sure if it was real. Yeah.
$200,000 a shot.
Yeah. That's just the missile, right? I mean, that's not including the fuel and everything else for the F-22. Probably cost millions just to fly it one time.
Yeah, they had the airspace closed in eastern North Carolina and South Carolina when that was going on.
Yep.
Oh, the sun's coming out here.
Yeah, that's very expensive, balloon popping.
The one and only enemy the F-22 shot down to.
Yeah, how much is a Sidewinder these days?
Too much.
More than your house.
Probably.
Considering they had the whole contiguous USA to take that thing down, they waited till it got out over Myrtle Beach.
I can't see this room here, but I've got some strange patches in my scenery, so it's a bit tricky anyway.
It's not the landing, it's missing the hill the other side of it.
Yeah, I'm going to circle it first and have a look. I've learnt my lesson tonight.
Nothing wrong with
I'll see if I can
rejoin.
It's one bit going then to the next airport.
Uh-oh, someone's cutting their wing into the ground, and they hit the ground.
I just saw that happen from a distance.
Right in front of me.
At least
It
it's
was me. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's some wind shear at each of these airports that are really messing with you, avionic.
Okay, I've got the airfield. Let's leap round to lose
Yeah,
some
I see it now.
speed.
just going to fly into the rain.
Straightforward approach into this airfield, though. We shouldn't be having any trouble, guys. It's...
Yeah, I'm just getting the speed and altitude down.
It's not the landing, it's the takeoff.
That's when I went into the deck. I don't know, it just lost all control. It just sort of put its nose down and... Nah, it's the sim's fault.
Yeah, never the pilot.
Some amazing scenery around here.
Yeah, especially in VR, it's amazing. The clouds are awesome.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
What VR headsets do you guys use?
The G2.
G2's pretty good. Clear on the dash.
Very happy with it.
I heard the Oculus is very blurry on the dashboard.
Yeah, it is. That's why I'm selling it.
Once you get past that, ooh, it's VR, it's amazing looking. And then you're like, I can't read the numbers.
Does anyone else use prescription lenses?
And the G2 is lighter than the Oculus.
Okay. Is it glasses friendly?
Yes. Yeah. If you got the right gasket for it, yeah.
They don't work with progressive lenses, I can tell you that.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. There's nothing really progressive in the distance there when it's one lens.
Yeah, exactly. You got one little sweet spot you can look through.
So I was absolutely stunned with this Tobii Eye Tracker when I first plugged it in and was working through some tests with it. Put sunglasses on, thinking, how's it going to see through them? But it did.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
So the eye tracking worked absolutely perfect through the darkest sunglasses I have.
Is the eye tracking or the head tracking, though, Jonathan, that is working?
No, it was the eye tracking. I turned the ghost thing on to make sure.
Okay.
And yeah, it was working absolutely fine through the darkest sunglasses I could find, which was, I thought, okay, I'm going to put this down. This is obviously some sort of dark magic going on.
it is.
All of a sudden, I'm picturing Jonathan in his aviator glasses and his leather jacket.
Has a fan going, so his scarf flops in the wind.
Somebody else had other head tracking other than you don't have the cable or the thing hanging on your head?
Well, I've got a grass monkey and it works fine.
Yeah.
You can mod the track IR to put a battery on your head unit, but yeah, it's a lot of work.
I presume it's because it's using infrared.
Yeah, it is. There's these two little red cameras that are pitched up at an angle from the bottom of the monitor looking straight at you.
Now try a welder's mask.
At all?
Sorry?
Is that light distracting?
No, you don't even notice it after. Yeah, I don't notice it. It's not that bright.
Yeah, once it's blinded you can't even see it.
There's lasers on your eyes, right? Is that what it's doing?
A laser pointer.
Yeah. So 155 degrees down to the final airfield. So.
And it's really steep. Yep.
Or up to the final airfield.
No, you've got Chimbu to do yet.
Yeah, because there's one more.
Oh, was it? Sorry.
The Yankee Charlie Hotel.
You've got to clear those mountains.
Okay, sorry. To the second to last airfield. 155, yeah. Yeah, but I'm in the caravan, so.
Thanks, I found it now.
10,500 feet to get over this hill.
Found it, did you, Peter?
Yeah, I don't know why I kept rewriting the echo wrong.
I'm gonna have to turn around. I'm not gonna make it.
Some crappy weather up front by the look of it.
It's a big cloud.
I must be doing something wrong, because I thought I turned on real weather, but I've got different wind and everything to everybody, so...
Well, I've got like weather on and it's flying into rain.
Yeah, and only a 5-knot headwind.
You're not in the UK?
Tailwind.
How do you mean?
Constant rain, Italy.
Right.
You look at what's going on around the world, it's either raining like hell or there's bushfires everywhere.
Yeah, I think I'll stick to some good old English rain.
That's bad in Greece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here in Michigan, we got the Canadian smoke from all the fires north of us, and it's actually really bad. It calmed down now, but the last couple of weeks, we couldn't even go outside. It was like a permanent haze outside. It looked like a thick fog, and you go outside and take a walk, and you come back, and you're like, feels like you're walking at 10,000 feet up.
What part of Michigan are you from?
Southeast Michigan, near Detroit.
Yeah, I'm up here in Traverse City, and I know exactly what you mean.
Yep. You couldn't even see the Mackinac Bridge from what I saw.
It was pretty hazy even down here in the Charlotte area on the East Coast. So we had haze and it smelled like wood smoke outside.
Yep, yep. And New York got really orange and yellow. Never seen that in my life happen. It's crazy.
Well, I can't see anything other than a whole lot of nameplates.
Yeah, going through clouds.
Yeah. And I'm VFR.
That's illegal, sir.
It's illegal.
We have a number for you to call, Ellis.
You're gonna take my license off me.
If you don't say that, then you're okay. But you just said it on radio, so now it's official.
Well, you know the definition of VFR, don't you? It's VFR if you can see your wingtips.
It's alright, once you're below the clouds you can see the runway nice.
I think it's time for Jonathan to put an asterisk at the bottom of this chat saying, do not use this for real life flying. Any of our advice?
Relief, I've just gone to a few clouds.
Yeah, speaking of advice, Ellis, I shot you a message on Discord if you get a minute.
This is quite a place. This is an amazing ridge ahead of us.
That's crazy, isn't it?
If you fly down that valley before that ridge, and there's a gap, and it puts you in line with the runway.
Find the gap.
When you're coming in, I'd mind the buildings at the end of the runway. I just tipped one and it put me upside down.
Oh dear.
Such sympathy.
Better than hitting a tree.
In the dictionary, right? Between two words. And we'll keep it family friendly.
I should say it was on purpose because I've got to go and feed the cat.
Didn't know you had a Catalina.
You wouldn't want a cat down here, Peter, at the moment. They're putting a bounty on the feral cats.
course, New Zealand didn't have cats, did it? It's only...
They're actually decimating our bird life.
Yeah.
So they're thinking of putting a bounty on the feral cats. See how many you can shoot today.
In New Zealand, you've got a lot of birds that can't fly, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah, there are quite a few.
Well, that's their fault.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's their fault.
Well, they didn't have to because there was nothing else to eat them. Until some silly bugger brought stuff along that...
Maybe they just need a good flight instructor.
Our correspondent.
Yeah. They just got to get their license.
The worst offenders were the people that got here first. I won't mention who they were, but they ate all the mowers. We haven't got any left. And apparently it was the biggest bird known to mankind. Far bigger than an ostrich or an emu.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures or drawings of them. They're huge, aren't they?
Yeah, Big Bird. You're talking about Big Bird, right?
Yeah, terrible when to crap on your head.
Go swimming with.
Wonderful, it's right in front of me.
Okay, so it looks
Even
like
I can see
everybody's...
this one.
I'll go left downwind.
Oh, the gas station's right in front of the runway.
Yeah, and we got a sealed runway this time, boys.
So if you land short, you'll light the area up for everybody.
And now you're going to give me
Sounds
tank
always
farm
better this way.
flashbacks, Jonathan.
Ah, Joe! He almost killed me. That was impressive.
Oh, they got a road down there. There is a road in Papua New Guinea.
This runway is paved and the last one. And you've got the choice of 2 runways to land on it, the last one.
The luxury.
It's the same runway, Dave, just got 2 different numbers.
It was the Irish builders that were drunk when they were making it. I suppose me saying that is a bit racist, isn't it? I'll take it back.
That's okay. The Irish aren't easily offended.
Say anything about the English because nobody takes any notice. Right, I'm going to put course in for the final airport, which is 98 degrees.
Have you got a yeah, Jonathan, have you got a heavy breathing mod for your mic?
Can you hear me breathing?
Yes.
Yeah, didn't know. I've got it a bit lower than I usually do. Maybe that's why.
Sounded like thunder. I don't know about raving.
horrible over for those using real Liveway.
Oh, found a road.
So when you've got a plane, you can adjust the prop pitch on. Are you better to have a lower or a higher pitch for climbing?
For climbing, you want to have that full up. Cruising, I do about 75-50%.
Okay. Oh.
It's just easier on the engine, and you'll maintain your speed.
For cruising, there's something called the square rule, which is the manifold pressure and the RPM. You have the same. So, for example, 25, 25, or 24, 24 maybe.
Alright.
Yep.
Oh, I see.
Cirrus did an interesting video for theirs because they have a manual prop, but the pilot doesn't actually change it. If that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, it's all part of their FADEX system, isn't it? It's all controlled.
I think it's more they said something like they realised that most pilots only use two settings, either full, middle, or off.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah. Well, normally it would either be full or something squared. Yeah.
Yeah, so they did something where they link the linkages, so based on where the RPM is, it sets the prop pitch based on the throttle setting or something.
Yeah, that's right.
It would also be better than me having the RPM in the red all the time. I think.
Yeah, most light aircraft, with a variable pitch prop, if you set 24, 24 on the RPM and the manifold pressure, that should be about right. And then adjust the mixture for height, altitude.
Mixture.
Some pretty big hills here in Papua New Guinea, haven't they?
And ominous clouds.
They've been here a long time.
And from what Scrubs tells me, when you get out in the back country, you've got a bit of a job avoiding the big crock pots. Might be a bit better now. It's 20 years on, 30 years on.
I had a cousin that lived here back in the late 1950s. I don't know.
Did he come home? Did he come home?
He came home in about 1965, and that
he was one of the lucky ones.
It was the only once I ever saw him. I think he went back. You know, he didn't. He just visited England then.
Okay, this low-lying cloud is getting dangerous.
Yep. I've noticed there is no more turbulence since the update. Did they change anything on that? Especially over mountains, you used to get quite a bit.
I think it depends on the wind. There's hardly any wind today, mind.
That's true.
You can change the amount of turbulence you get in the settings.
Yeah, I've got mine set to realistic, and I'm getting bounced all over the place.
Oh, I didn't know that's a new option.
No, it's been there a while.
It's very good.
Yeah, definitely have experienced the updraft, downdraft thing today.
I can't see a thing now. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, I'm threading a needle through the cloud base and the tree line.
You know where the turbulence option is at? Is it under flight model?
It's in realism stuff, yeah, somewhere.
Another 4 miles, and I can go down to 5,500 safely.
The airport's clear. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's down in the valley.
I'm at 8,000. It's probably cloud base.
Right, let's go down to 5,000.
Actually, weather like this is when the Garmin GTN 750 comes into its own, because of course you've got terrain. And so if you're flying in cloud, you can fly with confidence, as you might say.
That's the same in this G1000.
Yeah.
530's got it as well, as long as you've got the WT enhancements, which Orbix broke until they fixed it recently.
Yeah, it's on one of the pages, isn't it, on the first group?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's on the nav group, yeah.
Look at further plus page.
These low cloud solution does me think of flying in Bosnia. We had to fly with a patient to Sarajevo. We couldn't make it because of the weather, low clouds, and then we had to get back to Zagreb, and all with night vision goggles.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a tough flight.
What plane was that in?
Was it the Super Puma helicopter?
Oh.
I think it was about 3-hour flight. We did the first flight, picking up the patient, flying to Sarajevo, couldn't make it. We flew back to the field hospital, did a refuel, and then we flew to Zagreb. We had to go to the hospital in the middle of the city. Almost had the paramedics walking, or with the ambulance driving into the roadway.
Jeez.
Yeah, that was some good fun.
I'm curious as to what folks have picked up during the summertime sale. I've been certainly contributing to the global economy.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I think I might shout myself to Kodiak because I haven't had it yet.
Bought the floats for it.
Yeah, you'll not be disappointed.
It was only $10.
Aircraft.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Still debating the Hawk for Jonathan's flight tomorrow.
Bought the Hawk.
Yeah, well,
So
it's
that's
over
two
London,
things.
so I thought I'd fly a Hawk over London, you know? Do the memorial flight thing.
Oh, the GB3.
I've been enjoying
$1.98. It's hard to pass up.
I've been enjoying the 182 RG lately. It's great little plane.
Yeah, it's a great plane.
It's very good.
Good plane.
What's the recommended speed for tomorrow?
It's not actually my flight, so I'm just looking up to see who it actually is.
It's about 120 we're going for. We're not.
There we go.
We're not all rushing around.
Oh, perfect for the hog then.
Oh yes.
It's basically a series of wireless approaches.
Well, I picked up the premium version while it was on sale, and I got a wild hare and decided it'd be a great thing to try helicopters, so I bought 2 of the Cowan helicopters to try out.
Yeah, helicopters for me, that's just a crashing simulator.
Totally different animal, that's for sure.
I got the premium version when it first came out, and I've always had it, so don't know anything else.
Jonathan, your Tobii video was quite inspiring using the helicopter. I think we could do a helicopter event after doing that.
Yeah, it's I think VR is the way to fly helicopters. I think it's probably the only way, really.
Yeah, I think so too.
It makes things so much easier to get spatial awareness.
What does the Tobii 5 go for nowadays?
It's about 230, I think. Oh, that's in UK though. So what's that in dollars? 250 maybe.
Okay. Just out of curiosity, in case my G2 ever buys it, you know.
It's a weird
Well, it
skill
makes it
set.
about-
Though. So go on.
The thing with the Tobii, works out at about 500, 550 New Zealand, so it's not cheap.
No, it isn't.
No, unfortunately, if I bought the Tobii 5 because my G2 died, I would have to make up an excuse for maybe a projector on the wall or something, you know?
Probably wouldn't be able to use the Tobii without knowing to mount it.
I'll still say it again. I looked at the Tobii and the price put me off. So I went looking for other options. And the best option that I could find, and it's turned out to be the case, is that man from West Virginia, I think it is in the States, that makes the Grass Monkey. I'm very happy with it. It's really good for a head tracker. It's quite stable.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say, because I'd never used a head tracker properly, and I'd used smooth track in the past with a mobile phone, but it is a different skill set, and it takes you a while to retrain yourself to think in terms of pointing your head where you're wanting the camera to go. It's almost like you're being a director while you're flying.
But I think you adjust to that.
Yeah, you
after a
do,
little
yeah.
while,
Yeah, you do.
It becomes intuitive.
It does.
You don't even think about it, yeah. And when you have it turned off, yeah, it's funny. If you have it turned off or it's not working and you're in the sim, you're like trying to move your head and you're like, why am I not moving? It's very like disconnected.
But you do get caught out now and again with things like, you know, you go to scratch your nose or lift a coffee mug up and it thinks your face has changed direction.
That's the one. After 6 months of using it, that's the one negative I'll say about the Tobii is where it mounts. I kind of wish I'd gone for the track hat that mounts on the top of the monitor, the V2.
Yeah.
For that one reason.
Delan's clips are really good too. They got the cameras and the headsets, and it only cost you $50-$60 except for shipping.
Yeah.
I mean, I went with the Tobii because I didn't want anything on my head. That was my. I don't like VR for that reason.
I was before. Full disclosure, Tobii actually approached me out of the blue. So I had been looking at buying a Track IR and I hadn't been able to find any anywhere because apparently they haven't really developed it for the last 5-10 years and they're running out of stock all over the place. So yeah, I was kind of getting a bit naffed off thinking I'm not going to actually manage to get a Track IR, and then I got an email the same day that I was looking from Tobii saying we're going to pay you to do a video on the Tobii, so I was just lucky.
Oh, great.
So if it was completely awful, you still have to say it's good then, right?
No, no, that was the one condition I said. I said I want to be completely objective and I'm going to say it how I see it. But I've been pleasantly surprised. I will say I still get it now. That right now I've got neck ache, from holding my head in the right place in front of the screen.
Do you have a reset button? Like on
Yeah.
Takar,
Oh, yeah.
You can reset it. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you haven't got any sort of head tracking and you can just slouch sideways in your chair and look at your screen and look at your laptop and can't do any of that.
Right.
You know, while it's on. Obviously,
Right.
I can disconnect it.
Yeah, I mean, I just have a button on my joystick that does both of those, John. For the thing, I put a comment on that, and literally, I don't even have to move my hand from the joystick to do any of that. So,
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Again, that's me. I
Can
just
we-
need to get that workflow in my head to do that.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get used to it.
I had a left and right view on my joystick, which worked most of the time, but on whichever plane I had tonight, left went right 120 degrees and right went left 45 degrees. It's completely messed up, I don't know why. In other places, it's fine.
I also enjoy it in chase camera because you can actually do fine adjustments within the tracker, or if you're using a head unit, and you can do a slight adjustment to the left, because I think the chase camera seems awfully top heavy, like it's always looking a little bit higher than it should.
Yeah.
And then you can just look down a little bit with your head unit and you're dead center, and then you can take a picture or whatever.
So, what sort of price are G2 headsets, whatever they are?
Oh, that's a VR headset. Trouble is, the
Yeah.
VR headset, the cost of the headset is not the real cost. It's the upgrade you'll need to the PC.
Yeah. Well, certainly I would on mine, yeah.
Yeah, it's the £2,000 graphics card that you'll need to run it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, it runs really good on the 3080.
Yeah. It works even better on a 4090.
Right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I only got up to a 3060 Ti with this old PC I was donated.
And I'm guessing if you go up to one of the newer graphics cards, you're going to need a beefy power supply as well.
Yeah.
And a CPU. You gotta,
Watts. Yeah.
yeah, you can't put a new graphics card on a CPU with an older gen
And then
CPU.
you'll need a better case with better cooling.
Yep, you need more RGB on it. If
See,
you don't have the
almost
RGB. Yep.
it's almost worth just selling the PC and getting a matched kit that's ready to go.
I'll probably do that with a scanner or something like that.
IG2.
Yeah, that's what I did. I bought a PC for VR.
Yeah, I did the same. I bought the sim, loaded it onto my computer, and the first message I got was, "Your computer's not good enough."
That's depressing.
To run this. So I found a company, and then I found an outfit that one of the owners was a flight sim nut, and he said, "I'll build you a computer specifically for it." He said, "This is what we'll give you." I've had it for about 3 years now. Well, when did the sim first come out?
2020.
I can't remember.
2020.
2020, wasn't it? Yeah, well, it's 3 years ago.
August,
So
yeah.
I've had it for 3 years then. Yeah. I need, it's out of spec now because things have moved so fast.
And the price on a new unit, because I built mine. I built one in 2020. I built one just this year. So with in about 3 years, I've built two of them. And the price has almost doubled ever since after COVID.
Yeah.
I see the...
Well, there was a massive shortage of graphics cards for a while, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. Not anymore, but there's still a shortage in small capacitors for pretty much everything. So it just drove prices up, and they never reduced the prices.
The 4090 was advertised in a set computer the other day. Without it, with I think it was a 4060 or something like that, was £2,000, and with the 4090 it was 2,500. That was for the whole computer.
Well, that's a very good price for the whole computer because you'll pay 1,800 just for the 4090.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the OEM cost for it is nowhere near the retail cost.
He said 4060 though, right? Or not a 4090?
Well, there was the same computer, but the 4090 cost £500 more.
Oh, okay.
Let's have a look at Novatech quickly.
Yeah, I wouldn't get a 4060. There's a definite shortage in the VRAM on that one. I would go 4070 or Ti or higher.
So 4080, 16 gig graphics card. Yeah, it's just over 3,000. But that's the top end. That's like 32 gig fast RAM. The works.
Yeah, by the time you added extra RAM, you could go up to 3,000 easy.
And it's got an i7 in it as well. So.
And then the G2 costs about $500 for the version 2.
Yeah, if you want to go absolutely crazy, you can get an i9 CPU, 24 gig of RAM on a 4090 for £3,500. Oh my word!
That's a lot of money.
I'm waiting to see what 2020.
That's what I paid 4 years ago. And that was a 2080 Ti.
Yep.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see any comparisons of how well the AMD hardware does against the NVIDIA hardware these days.
I've got an AMD. Oh, you mean for GPUs?
Yeah, the ARC.
Well, yeah, for the whole series, because they do like matched kits, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I've got a NVIDIA with AMD GPU. I mean CPU, and that CPU it's really good. Well, I've got only good things to say about it.
So if someone's on the live stream chat is saying, yeah, most companies will charge you 500 to 1,000 to put the parts together, I don't agree with that. I think most companies get the parts from suppliers, and they can usually build one for cheaper than you can buy the bits to make one.
Yeah, they got the bulk.
And they'll sell you it for less than you can buy the bits for.
Although it's a lot of fun building your own.
Yeah, that's the thing though, isn't it? Yeah.
You get to pick everything you want out of it. And you really understand it. So if something goes wrong, you're kind of an expert on that PC.
Yeah. It is a bit scary though.
I'm going to pull the plug, so I'll say night to everyone. I hope you enjoyed the route.
Yes, it was great.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was fun.
That was good. That was really good.
Cheers, Dave.
That was a great flight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Thanks,
Hopefully
Dave.
see
Thank
you
you.
tomorrow.
Thanks for a wonderful.
Night, everyone.
Yeah, thanks,
Good
mate.
night.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
See you
See you
soon.
guys tomorrow.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Yeah, but I'll say good night to everyone as well, as the cat didn't want its food last time and he sat in the window. Now he wants his food, of course.